What's going on, my good people? Mike Hidalgo here. Thank you for joining us on another FCP Euro DIY. Today, we're going to be working on a 2008 W211 E63 AMG. Today on the E63 behind me, we're going to be covering how to replace your cabin air filter. Now, typically, we recommend you replace this every 2 years, and due to the fact that they are located in the cowl, you may want to consider that a little bit sooner than later if you keep your vehicle outside. To learn a little bit more about why the cabin air filter is so important, be sure to click the link in the description below where our very own Ben Morawski talks a little bit more in depth about cabin air filters and why they are so important. Now, before we get started on this DIY, let's take a look at some of the tools we're going to need for this job. And now for tools. For this DIY, you're going to need a very basic set of tools, starting with a 10mm socket, a ratchet. Today we're using a 3/8 drive. And in some cases, you might want a small set of pliers. Some of the clips on the cowl can get hard or brittle or break over time, so these will come in handy for removing that. And in some extreme cases, keep a shop vac handy. If you haven't done this in a while, or your car's stored outside, you may have a lot of nature debris in the area, so you want to vacuum that out before you install the new filter. Now we know what tools we're going to need for this DIY. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, my good people, under the hood of the W211, we are working on the passenger side of things. So to get started, we have this cowling that we want to remove. It's held down by 3 twist tabs. We have one located by the hood strut, one up here by the windshield wipers, and then one down here by the strut. Now this one on ours is a little bit broken, so I'm going to use those pliers I mentioned at the beginning of the video just to give it a good twist. All right. With that, we can go ahead and lift this up. As you can see, our cowling's a little bit worn out, has seen some better days. Some of these clips are a little bit torn, but regardless, you get the idea. Set this to the side. Now we have access to our cabin air filter location. It is tied down by one 10mm plastic nut. So grab your 10mm socket, and we'll go ahead and get that off. All right. Now with that off, it's just a matter of lifting up the housing. And here is our cabin air filter. Now would be a good point to inspect everything in here and make sure there's no water intrusion anywhere. Sometimes when people do these jobs, they don't put these all the way back on and you have a unperfect seal. Your ECU is also located under here, so you definitely want to make sure this is in the right location. We're going to go ahead and grab our new filter and match them up, make sure that they are the same shape as this one, and then we'll talk about how to put it in. All right, as you can see, we have our new Corteco filter right next to our old setup. Same shape. This one's a little bit different as it has a built-in plastic housing to it versus this one is just the same filter material, but we're going to go ahead and pull this one out. You can simply compress it by the edge over here and then pull it out. And these only go in one way, which makes life pretty easy. We'll go ahead and feed in the far end first underneath these 2 tabs. Then we'll go ahead and press this side in underneath our locking tab on this side. You can reach in and move the filter around from the back just to make sure it's seated properly on all 4 corners. Now we can go ahead and install it back onto our cowl side of things. You have 3 locking tabs up top that are going to engage with the teeth coming off of the cowling here on the car's end. And then you have 2 side, I like to call them little guide clips that are going to clip onto the side of the cowling. So let's go ahead and feed this back on. Start with the top ones first. Push it down into place, and it literally falls right into place, lines itself back up with the stud for our 10mm nut. At that point, we can go ahead and reinstall said 10mm nut. Hand tight's fine, but we'll give it a final snug with the socket. Beautiful. Now we can grab our cowling, set this back over. You may have to move some of the weather stripping around to get this seated again. And this is our broken tab, but we were able to get it back on. And there you have it, my good people. Overall, a very straight, easy, nice job on an E63. You don't have to climb inside the passenger side of things and crawl under the glove box. So I appreciate these kind of cabin air filters any day. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments on what we did today, or there's specific content that you want to see done to the W211, let us know in the comment box below. And if you like this DIY and you want to see more like them, please consider subscribing. We make new ones all the time. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.